matter the social standing of a person, no matter what age range an individual falls into, no matter what type of spoon a person was born with, no matter what color of skin is found on our bodies, no matter what gender we possess, everyone expects big things. Everyone has hope that the next stage will bring better circumstances. We desire big things. Of course, there is a difference in what we classify as big, as it varies from person to person. Take for example, what a billionaire would expect as a big thing, is different from what a less privileged person will see as big. Our definition of a big thing also varies. For one person, a big thing will have to do with money. For another person, it will have to do with an emotional experience like love. But whatever the case may be, we all accept big things. And yet sometimes these things come just when we are in the midst of our darkest moments. When we are losing hope and are tired of it all. If only some people knew how close they were to achieving success when they gave up on a project, a relationship, a talent, or even life itself. If only they knew how close they were to something big. But how can we know? What are the signs we will notice when something big is coming our way? What were the signs that those who gave up were supposed to have seen? We will look into these even as you await your own big thing in whatever form God has ordained it to come. The reason is simply to give you hope in God that you will not lose hope but will trust Him all the more no matter what. You will face intense difficulty and hardship. One sign, however contradictory it may seem, that something big is about to happen, is that oftentimes you will find yourself in very challenging circumstances. But like the saying goes, the night is darkest just before the sun is about to rise. This is often very true, as the testimony of several people has been the same, that their biggest breakthroughs were oftentimes just after their biggest been-throughs. The Bible puts it this way in Job 23 verse 10, "But He knows the way that I take, He is concerned for it, appreciates, and pays attention to it. When He has tried me, I shall come forth as refined gold, pure and luminous." Amplified Bible. This is one reason why we must have hope in our trying times, knowing that once the trial is over, we will come forth as gold. Refined gold. This was very true of Job, who lost everything he had including good health, and not too long after, all was replaced and even more. Same with Joseph, who went through horrible experiences just before God set him as a ruler in Egypt and used him to deliver His people. And it is not always a pleasing experience, like in the case of Stephen in the book of Acts, who saw God seated on the throne while being stoned to death. Yet he certainly went to heaven and was rested with Christ. People will not understand your actions and your thoughts. When something big is about happening in your life, it is very common for people to misunderstand your actions and thoughts, as these will change naturally. Not everyone will understand the task God has predestined for you at a particular time, and it also follows that when your expectation for what is coming gets big and sometimes restless for you, not everyone will understand, including those close to you. Oftentimes, the road to greatness is marked with isolation. This is not a reason to give up or despair. As long as you are certain that you are on the right track, then even when you find yourself alone and misunderstood, you can be sure that something big is coming. You will be criticized and find yourself asking questions. One sign that something big is coming is that you will be criticized and even mocked at certain times. And naturally, you will find yourself asking some questions. To see this, we look at Noah in Genesis 6 and 7, who built an ark, something not ever seen, on dry ground. I have always imagined the jest he must have received from people who were around at that time. And yet even with the jests and criticism, Hebrews 11 verse 7 records Noah this way, prompted, by faith Noah, being forewarned by God concerning events of which as yet there was no visible sign, took heed and diligently and reverently constructed and prepared an ark for the deliverance of his own family. By this, his faith which relied on God, he passed judgment and sentence on the world's unbelief and became an heir and possessor of righteousness, that relation of being right into which God puts the person who has faith. Amplified Bible. People could equally hardly understand the apostles or the first century church who would be killed for refusing to burn incense to Caesar. Yet for them the something big was the hope that lies beyond this world when a person believes in Christ. The ultimate big thing. So also we can take a cue from them as we face criticism and ask questions about what God has promised us. It is a sign that something big is coming. You will find yourself losing all self-belief and looking only unto God. Another sign that something big is coming is that you will be so hard-pressed that you will have no other option but to look to God. As C.S. Lewis puts it, pain is God's megaphone to a dead world. Sometimes the function of such trying circumstances is to make us see the truth that we have no strength of our own and thereby point us to Him. We see this example with the Israelites in Exodus 14, where they were brought to a point of no escape, none at all. In front of them was the Red Sea, behind them was the Egyptian army, and on both sides were huge mountains. The only hope was God, and their deliverance was just by the corner. Jacob is another example of this. After cunning his brother, deceiving his father-in-law, it was easy to think his wits had carried him far, but as recorded in Genesis 32, he came to his wits' end when he could neither go forward nor backwards. His big thing, which was contrition and dependency on God, only came after the Lord broke him. This particular sign calls us to then truly trust in God when stuck, that we don't look to other people or mediums for our deliverance. These same terrible circumstances have been the reason some have left the Lord, but it should only draw you closer to Him when you go through these knowing that big things are coming. In conclusion, you will have peace. One major sign that something big is coming is that despite the excitement, the misunderstanding by people, the signs you might get, you will have peace. This is not just any feigned peace, but a peace from God. And this is a major sign that something big is coming. As Jesus said in John 14 verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." So as you wait expectantly, look for these signs and trust God to bring something big soon.